Welcome to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, how are you doing? You're listening to episode 9, Moving On After Being Fired. Well, hello again. We meet again, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in live today. I'm Lorraine Rise on our little show here, Career Uprising. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. There has been so much going on here. It's been birthday week at Inflow Radio. Today is the last day of our celebration. And what we're celebrating here, of course, is the birth of this show and this whole network over the last couple of weeks. We've been rocking and rolling for a couple of weeks kind of quietly, but now we are making it official that we are here. So what we've been doing is celebrating this past week and really just thanking you guys, the listeners. It would not be possible, of course, without you guys. So what we're also doing is we've been giving away prizes. And so it's my turn today to do that, hopefully. So what we need are some live callers. We are broadcasting live today on Monday, June 4th. So if you are listening in real time, I would strongly encourage you to call in and chat with me today. I would love to give away some prizes. So what I'm thinking I will do is I've got a grand prize of one 30-minute career coaching session for one lucky caller. Awesome. It would be basically 30 minutes of my time devoted just to you and your needs and what's going on. If you're in a job search or maybe you're happy where you're at, but you just have some questions, whatever you need, that's going to be our grand prize. But anyone who wants to call in today will get something, because I do have a lot of other tip sheets, ebooks, things like that. So I'll be giving away something to anybody who wants to call in and either ask a question or just chat with me, comment on what we're talking about today, whatever it might be. So today would be the day if you have been thinking at all of calling in to talk to me. So the number is 1-760-456-7277. I'll give you that one more time. It's 1-760-456-7277. And you could be my lucky winner. So let's get on with it. I want to talk to you guys really quick before we dive into our big meaty topic today. Is I want to give you guys some other exciting news. And I think I mentioned this last week, or if you're in my email community or Facebook group, you might know about this. But if you don't know, I want to let you guys know that I have a live event coming up really, really soon. I'm going live again. I'm always live on this show pretty much, but I'm taking it to another level even here and doing another free online webinar. It's a training for job seekers, and it is happening this coming Wednesday, June 13th. So in just about a little over a week. And so it's June 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And to be honest, this is kind of rare for me. The last time I did this training or one like it was several months ago in March of this year. And it was a lot of fun. It was a good success. And so of course, when something works well, you want to do it again, right? I got a lot of feedback from folks who attended that they really enjoyed it, that it was helpful. So a couple of times a year, I carve out that time to do a free online training to kind of let you guys get some good tips in your job search, but also get to know me and kind of my style and what I do. So this training is called Land Your Dream Job, a proven 3-step strategy. So why I named it that, one of the biggest problems that I hear as a career coach from clients is that their job search is just taking a long time. They aren't getting a lot of requests for interviews, and they're stagnant. They're just not getting that job fast enough, and they don't really know why. They don't really know what's wrong. So this webinar and this training will solve that. And what I'll be doing is sharing with all of you my 3-step kind of job search process or strategy that I coach my clients on. This is what I share with my private coaching clients about how to go beyond just applying online, on job boards. This is going to be way more effective than that. And I get great feedback from clients on this process and how they've implemented it, the tools that I share that go along with it as well. So I know you're going to love it. And what we do is we gather together for about an hour or so, and I go through this strategy with you. And I also leave a little bit of time at the end for a Q&A. So you'll actually have a chance to ask me some questions about your own situation. So please register for that. Even if you can't attend live, you will be able to get the recording, if nothing else. So you should register anyway, but try to come live because you'll get to chat with me and just pop me some questions in the chat box and I'll answer them about your own situation. And also, I'm giving away a free bonus gift to those who attend live. You're going to get one of my little ebooks that I've kind of put together. And this one's all about how to get your resume through those pesky applicant tracking systems that everyone's always asking me about how do they work and how do I get my resume through it? Well, I put together a little tip sheet for that. So anyone who comes to the webinar live will get that as well. So enrollment's now open. What you can do, head over to worksmartcounseling.com/dreamjob. That's worksmartcounseling.com/dreamjob and claim your spot. And I'll be putting the registration link also again in my Facebook group, in the Inflow Radio Facebook group, so our social media folks can kind of get a chance to get on that. But yeah, go to my website. You'll read more about it there, or go to that link, worksmartcounseling.com/dreamjob. And I hope I see you there on my webinar. It's June 13th. Okay. Oh boy. So I don't want to talk too much because we have a really good topic today. And you're going to hear me say that all the time. I would never bring you a topic that I didn't think was awesome. But this one is really special and really personal for me. And I'm going to really tell you the kind of crazy story of my own experience with getting fired. That's right. And I also, I got a listener question about this too a couple of weeks ago in our Facebook group. And so I'm going to address that question, but that kind of made me think, yeah, it's time to share this story. It's time to go there, right? And I'm actually, really, really happy to be, as you can tell from my voice, I'm perfectly happy to be sharing this story with all of you. And I like talking about it at this point because I am 100% at peace with everything that happened. And really, I'm grateful for it. I am deeply, deeply grateful for this experience and what it did for me, because it truly changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my career and my life. And to be honest, if I had not gotten fired from this job, in fact, I'm almost certain I would not be talking to you today. I may never have started my company, Work Smart Career Counseling. It was that deep of a cut, or, it was that big of a kind of perceived crisis for me. But it's pretty cool how life works, isn't it? Right? Our greatest crisis nearly always turns out to be our greatest opportunity if we let it. If we're willing to look at it that way. So, like I said, I also got a listener question about, how do you overcome this? And what do you say when you've been fired from a job and that kind of thing? So I am going to answer her question at the end of the show and give you guys some good dialogue for how you too can handle it. And I'll share with you what I said when I had to overcome this in interviews and kind of spin it to my next employer, right? So we'll save a few minutes at the end to talk about that as well. But all right, so let me give you this story. So I know, guys, that finding a new job after you have been let go, it can be a really intimidating experience, especially if it's never happened to you before. And as I mentioned, of course, I know this from personal experience. And I got to be honest with you guys too. I never thought that it would happen to me. Never. I've been kind of the career golden girl. I'm just going to dub myself that, okay? Work and career, I'm sure you can guess by what I do here on this show, has always been a big theme in my life. And it's always been an area of my life where I've been very successful and I've been very ambitious. So I'm being completely honest with you guys when I say it never occurred to me that I would get fired one day. It was always something that happened to other people until it happened to me, right? We always think we're invincible until it happens to us, right? That was me, definitely. So I'll try to keep it brief for you guys, but I also want you to get the gist of what happened and the significance of it. And then hopefully you can kind of relate your own situation if you've ever gone through this to it. And then please too, if you have ever gone through something like this, call in today. This is the show to call in. If you is a safe place, please. And I'd love to hear your experience if you've ever been through something like this, whether it's a firing, a layoff, anything like that. Definitely give me a call today. But let me give you my story really quick. So, oh boy, here we go. In early 2015, I had actually been just laid off, not fired, but just laid off from a job that I had been at for not very long. Only about 1 year. And this was just due to a buyout. The company was small. They got purchased, which we all kind of knew was coming. It was a startup. So it was goodbye to the whole HR department. And we all, a lot of us knew that we were losing our jobs. So we kind of had a little bit of a heads up there. So I did what I always do. And I threw myself into massive action. And I started applying for jobs daily. It became my full-time job, and at this point I had been in so many job searches and I just knew how to manifest a job quickly. I had mastered that mindset and that process. And I had learned how to embrace the process. And I knew at that point how to attract what I needed. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say I may have gotten a little bit too good at it. And here's what I mean by that. Okay. So I started job searching because I knew I was losing my job. And I immediately got interest from a company once I started applying. And I got this job very quickly, very easily, too easily. The interview was barely an interview. I think the CEO who interviewed me was just checking to make sure I had a pulse or something. He was not a very skilled interviewer, which is okay. A lot of people aren't. That's pretty common. But it was hardly anything. I mean, he didn't tell me anything about really the actual job and what I'd be doing. It was all so vague. And I just thought it was a little odd. But I went with it. I did because I needed to find a job fast. I was just happy that they were interested in me. And that's every job seeker's dream, right? Is just to get a job quickly and easily. That's what you want. So I kind of fell into that mindset and I ignored my intuition. I didn't pay attention to all of those red flags that were like, this is really different than other jobs. This is really vague. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. I couldn't really pinpoint it, but I just ignored it really. And I went with it. And I took the job, though somewhat reluctantly, despite my intuition saying that something wasn't quite aligned right. But like I said, that's kind of what you do when you're unemployed. You don't want to turn down a job offer. Seems like the right thing to do, huh? Well, that's what I thought at the time. And this was a big, big lesson for me. All right. So here's what happened. The job was terrible. It was terrible. It was awful, you guys. I received no training. Okay. The CEO, who was my boss, was, let's just say not the friendliest person. It was a pretty negative environment. It was palpable, really. A lot of people who worked there felt that way. It was not just me. I'm not going to go off and say it was a hostile environment, but because there are environments out there that are, but it was borderline hostile. It was very tense. I would use that word. It was a very negative, very aggressive, very tense environment. And I did not fit in with it, and in particular, my boss, he just had this, energy and this presence that was so strong and so different than mine. Have you ever had that happen? You meet someone and you don't know why, but you just don't feel comfortable around them. It's really intangible, but you just have to kind of chalk it up to their energy and their presence not being aligned with you. You're just like, whoa, I don't gel with you. Well, that's how I felt with him. And so a few weeks went on, and I tried to just kind of chalk it up to being new. Maybe I needed time to adjust. Maybe I was overreacting. I don't know. I tried to, again, just ignore my intuition, sweep it under the rug. But after just a couple of weeks, it became very apparent to me that this was not going to work. The environment was not going to improve. This was not going to be sustainable. This is just how it was going to be working here. And so what did become clear to me was that this was going to end. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I knew I wasn't going to work here very long. And so I have to say fear really kind of took over a little bit, because all these thoughts started kind of swirling through my head about, well, I can't launch a job search. I just did that. I just got out of a job search a few weeks ago. And the job that I was at before that, I was only there for a year before I got laid off. I was really, really worried about looking like that kind of stereotypical millennial job hopper, right? Because I was about just in my 30s or so. I'm a millennial, I'll claim it. But so I had real worries about, how I was going to spin this to my next employer. No one wants to hire that person, right? Who's only been at a job 2 months and is looking again. So this was a really uncomfortable place for me to be in. And not to mention, launching another job search was just not something I was up for. Mentally, emotionally, I just got out of one and I just was not feeling it. So I did the only other thing that I could do. And I prayed and I asked for guidance and a solution. And what I really did was set an intention. Okay. And I talk about that in an earlier episode. I think it's episode 4, setting an intention for your job search. All right. So this is powerful. My intention really was this, something along the lines of, I want to be free. I want to be free of this toxic job. I don't know how or when it's going to happen, but I want to begin to detach from this job. How can I do this, universe? How can I move forward in a positive way, with confidence, with integrity? What is the best way for me to be released from this job? This is really how I thought at the time. And that's how I set an intention, as I say something like that. And I just kind of put my feelings out there of what I want to happen, even though I don't know when or how or what it's going to look like. And I will say, in saying those things, I'm being truthful. I had still no idea that I would get fired. That is not what I meant. When I said I wanted to be free and I wanted to be released from the job, trust me, guys, it didn't cross my mind that little Lorraine could possibly get canned. That was still not a box that I was willing to check in my mind, right? So I figured it would still happen some other way. Maybe some job opportunity might come to me through somebody that I knew or something. Or maybe my husband would be like, yeah, go ahead, you can quit. But even that wasn't going to happen. I just knew one thing. I knew I wasn't aligned with another job search. I wasn't feeling that. And I also really knew I wasn't going to quit. I never even asked my husband if I could quit, because I'm not a quitter. The last time I'd quit a job was in college. But also, my husband had been very unhappy at his job for, 6 years or so. And I was at 6 weeks? So how could I possibly ask him, can I quit my job without another one? I was not going to do that. I'll be honest with you guys, I had way too much guilt around that. And I had bills to pay. I had a young kid at home. Quitting was out. Quitting wasn't an option. Looking for another job was out. I didn't feel right with that. So what was left? Well, working for myself, right? As the days and the weeks went on, then this idea of starting a business started kind of dripping into my consciousness. And ultimately, I knew what I needed was just to replace my income. I thought, God, it can't be that hard, right? And it was actually stunningly clear to me what it would be. It was career coaching. And the reason I had this seemingly instant clarity was because this idea of career coaching had actually been drip, drip, drip in my consciousness for about a year. I had actually had this idea about 8 months or so, maybe a year prior. But like all big new things in life, I resisted it. I would say, oh, no, that's not for me. I don't need to do that. Who, me? No. I just want to climb the corporate ladder. No, I'm not interested in that. I even used to listen to a lot of our founder here, Summer McStravick. I used to listen to a lot of her podcasts for years, and I would skip all the ones about starting a business. I honestly would, because I just didn't resonate with that. It was just active resistance. I thought, nah, I'm not interested in that. Active resistance, but only because I didn't really have a reason to start one yet. I didn't have a reason to act on that. There was no urgency yet. Well, now there was. So this idea now of working for myself and finding coaching clients, this idea now came back to me. And when it came back to me this time, it came back with a vengeance. It was an obsession. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's how I knew it was right. I began to allow this feeling and this obsession to start getting real and making decisions for me. I decided not to let fear make my decision, but hope. Hope was going to make my decisions for me now. And I was going to allow it to guide me to do bold things that I would never ordinarily do, because fear would have held me back, right? Well, suddenly, because of this crisis now at my current job, the idea of not starting the business was suddenly a lot scarier than the idea of starting it. The fear started to go away. So again, I took massive action while I was still at this toxic job. I had no idea, what work I was supposed to be doing anyway. So I started focusing on my business. I made a website. I planned out my coaching programs. I sketched out my services. I wrote my blog articles, made a business plan, made a marketing plan. I did all of that in 1 week, you guys. Massive action. 1 week. I've never taken more bold or just inspired action in my life. It was crazy. It was like a whirlwind week. So what happened then, you ask? Thanks for asking. Well, in these new massive actions, I sent a clear message to the universe that I wasn't playing around. I was ready to show up for this new business and do it, right? And so, as it always works, the universe met me where I was at and conspired with me to help me get free. And it gave me a circumstance that matched my intense desire with the same intensity, same urgency that I was showing it. It brought me a situation just like that. All right. Well, so here it is. So long story short, okay, I was sitting in my office one day with another employee who was conferenced in on the phone, and we were discussing some kind of project or another that we were working on, her and I. And my boss didn't like it. Shocker, right? He didn't like the way it was going or how we were doing it. I don't know. He was pretty much berating us, me in person and her on the phone. And I think he just snapped. I think he had just had enough of me over the past 6 or 8 weeks or whatever it was. I think it was 3 months. I think I lasted 3 months. So for the last 3 months, he just had enough of me. And with the other gal on the phone, he just said, that's it. He said, Lorraine, you're done. We're eliminating your position right now, this minute. And then he said something like, trying to insult me. He said something like, if we need an HR manager here, it ain't you. Something like that. And I thought, and of course, there was a certain amount of shock and a little bit of anger, of course. But really, in my mind, I thought, oh my God, mission accomplished. This is how it happens. I've ticked this guy off enough, and I found my way out. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm telling you, I had no intention of getting fired. I'm not the kind of person to go out and just rattle someone's cage hoping they'll fire me. That's crazy. But this new idea took over me, and I started acting differently, much more courageously. And he noticed. Because remember, guys, I'm the self-proclaimed career golden girl and a closet perfectionist. So getting fired doesn't happen to me, all right? Remember that. Doesn't happen to me. Oh, wait, but it did. So when I say this guy fired me, all right, guys, let me be clear. He did not politely, look at me and go, oh, thank you, Lorraine, for everything you've done. But at this point, I think we're going to eliminate your position. No, this man followed me into the office, yanked the computer out of the dock, and watched me, stared me down like a hawk as I gathered my stuff. I don't know what he was afraid I was going to do. Steal something? I don't know. Real classy, right? But of course, I'm not blaming it on him. I played a role in this. I was an active participant in this just as much as he was. And everything played out just like it was supposed to. This was the divine's way of doing for me what I wasn't willing to do on my own. I had been given subtle hints. This idea had been planted in me, but remember, I resisted it. So now the universe had no choice but to respond to me in a stronger way that would get my attention. And getting fired sure as hell got my attention. All right, guys. So let's take a quick break. Oh, I'm so excited. Looks like we have a couple callers. So somebody might be getting some free gifts today. Woohoo! So let's take a quick break. When we come back, I do want to get to these callers, and I do also want to make sure I answer the listener question that came through about this exact topic and share with you the language that I used to get past this and communicate it to my next employer. So we are coming right back, guys. Stay tuned. While the show takes a short break, I want to tell you how you can work with me personally as your career coach. My signature program, Career Transformation, is perfectly designed for clients who are going through a major career transition. If you're changing fields, returning to the workforce after an absence, or maybe you're undecided on a career path, then this is the program for you. Through the coaching process, we'll gain clarity on your path and craft a job search strategy to support your big career move. If that sounds amazing, take action now by heading over to my website, worksmartcounseling.com. That's worksmart, COUNSELING.com, to learn more about the Career Transformation Program and apply for a phone call with me. All right, let's get back to the show. I'd love to answer your questions. Give me a call in today's episode, recorded live, by dialing the U.S. number 1-760-456-7277. That's 1-760-456-7277, and let's see how we can improve your career. Hey, everybody. All right, we are back. So thank you. All right. Well, I hope you can see the takeaway from my little story there about how your greatest crisis really can be your greatest opportunity. So for me, getting fired really was the universe's kind of way of helping me to get where I needed to go and where I didn't have the courage to go to myself. So, all right. So let me take a minute really quick to answer a question that came through our Facebook group. And this gal asked me, she said, how do you go about answering honestly when you have been fired from a job? You know, she said, I've read all of the online answers and they're all still too vague. So this is a great question. Yeah, this is a good one. And you are absolutely right, my friend. Online answers are vague because the answer really just depends on your situation. And, you know, the best rule of thumb is to be honest, of course, but without divulging more than is needed. You know, so it's probably going to be hard for you to find, you know, what you are looking for with online answers because, like I said, it's just, it really kind of depends. So I will say when I interviewed after my termination, you know, one of the things that I found was that a lot of employers really don't ask you outright, you know, were you fired? That's not a standard interview question. It's probably not something that they're going to ask you. But what it might sound like is, tell me why you left your last employer. So in that case, you know, you might want to, I don't know for you, Kelly, what your reasons were for being let go, but it might sound something like this. You might want to say, you know, that the company restructured and my position was eliminated. And honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. You know, now I have an opportunity to explore jobs that better suit my qualifications and my interests. And you know, my research suggests that this might be a good one. This might be a good match, which is why I'm excited to be here today interviewing with you. So, you know, that you might want to just say it that way, that they restructured, your position was eliminated. And if they ever do press you further, yes, if they outright ask you, you know, were you terminated? Of course, we want to be honest, but you don't necessarily have to volunteer that. You know, you can put a positive spin on it and still be honest. There is a way to do that. So for my situation too, when I got that question, and I did, I said my position was eliminated, which was true, 100%. And they still I don't think they ever backfilled my position, or I probably scarred them so bad that they didn't hire anybody else. I didn't say, you know, I was fired. I just said that the company made some changes, they restructured, and they did let me go as a result of that. But here's why it was positive. And then another way I could have said it too was that I was laid off from the job before that and looking for work. And to be honest, I took the first job that came along and it wasn't really a good fit. And I won't make that mistake again. I'd prefer, you know, a larger company or whatever, different environment that's more maybe structured, more team oriented, something like that. So that would work too. Is just say, you know what, I took a job. It wasn't the right fit, but it's okay. It's all good. And I'm happy to be here interviewing today with you. So I hope that helps you a little bit there, Kelly. I hope you're able to kind of overcome that. But I would definitely encourage you to call in if you ever get the opportunity to do that. Maybe I can help you a little bit more, you know, one-on-one with your situation there. So I will mention too that I made a blog post that I just released all about this, how to move on and what to say in getting fired. So I'm going to put that in the Career Uprising group, the Facebook group, and maybe the Inflow Radio group as well. So you guys can get that as well. So look out. If you haven't joined that group on Facebook, go find me and I'll put that blog post there for you guys. Okay. All right. So let's go to the phone lines. Let's try JJ. All right. I'd like to bring on somebody. So hi there, JJ.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. JJ, thank you so much for calling. Now, are you on my email list, or have we ever spoken or anything like that? I'm not sure if I know who you are.
Email list.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Well, what can I help you with?
I'm about ready to fire myself. I've been in a family business for 40 years, and of course, we're close to retirement, but I've moved and am selling that business, and I still want to stay active, so I need a new career. And I've thought about possibly something in the tech field, but I don't have any certification. I'm wondering whether for this particular field, which is pretty strong in this area, whether maybe some certifications or schooling at my age would be beneficial.
Mm-hmm. And now, where are you located? I'm here in the DC area. Where are you at? Are you local to me?
Loudoun County.
Oh, you are. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Wonderful. Okay. So, yeah, as you know what, JJ, I would say as far as trying to kind of go get some new skills or anything like that, have you looked into, we have some great local resources here with adult continuing education through Nova, George Mason. There's some great programs there where you can get pretty quick certifications in different areas of technology. Have you looked into any of those? You don't necessarily have to get a full degree. You can just do certification programs that are pretty short term. Have you looked into any of those?
I have started looking at the Nova programs. It's out in my area, and of course I've been doing sort of tech has been a side job of mine all through the years, but it's just been self-taught. So I didn't know whether that would help me through the process, or it's pretty much starting from scratch.
Right.
I didn't know.
No, you know what? I will tell you, being self-taught in tech is I have some experience with that on my husband's side. He is 100% self-taught, and he works now as a senior software developer, and he has no certifications. He has no or computer science degree, none of that. So, but he has the skills. Yes, true. It's true. So now what I would recommend though is look into some certifications, look into something like that. But because if you're willing, if you're not looking for a big career move, if you're just looking for that kind of encore career during retirement, and maybe you don't need the salary you once had, you could, tech support. There's very entry and semi-entry level tech support jobs that you could probably get rather quickly with just some short-term certifications, and you wouldn't necessarily need to go back and get a full degree. I don't know if do you feel like you're pretty clear that tech is where you want to go, or are you kind of open to some other routes?
I'm open to a lot of other things. But that's just, for right now, that's something that I thought, I could probably do best in that particular area, and maybe there's a greater need here for it too. But
there is
for self-interest.
Yeah, no, you're in the right area for tech. Here in kind of the Silicon Valley of the East, as we're becoming, you're in a great area for that. So I would look at George Mason. I would look at Nova, and but I always tell people too, you're at a position where you can kind of choose where you want to go, and you've had the bulk of your career behind you. So now, you really want to focus on, what am I good at? What are my strengths? And if you feel pretty clear that something in technology is that's what it's going to be and something you're interested in, I would follow that and just use that as your starting point, and just look into what it might take to get a few certifications. Yeah, absolutely. Because some of them might be easier to get than you think. But you know what? Here's what else I'm thinking too, JJ. This is birthday week here at Inflow Radio. You picked a good time to call, right? Because do you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think you are the first person here to call in, and you're just brand new too. So I'm feeling like I want to make you my lucky winner and give you a completely free 30-minute career coaching session. And then you and I can explore this again, perhaps in a little bit more depth in the next few weeks, and I can help you a little bit more one-on-one. Does that sound good?
That sounds fantastic. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I think that would be a great next step for us, and I really appreciate you calling in. But do you have any other thoughts or questions? Have you been listening to the show? Is this your first show, or have you listened to a few others?
No, I had been researching the topic a few weeks ago, and your name came up, and I've listened to your other podcast and read some of your material, and I've started doing some online training too. So I'm sort of gearing that direction. I thought, I better check and don't want to invest too much time until I find out whether this is something that is, practical, so to speak.
Well, I'm so glad. That's so funny. You said you researched this topic and my name came up. So did you research getting fired and my name came up? I hope not. I'm just teasing you.
No,
what did you find on me there, JJ?
Career transition.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That topic. Okay. I'm like, woo. Is there something about me I don't know of? Oh no. Awesome. Well, to tell you what, did you, before I let you go here, did you give your contact information, your email to my producer, Brian, so we can get you that free session?
I don't know that I gave him enough, but
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I'll
So,
either call back later or.
well, what I would say is stay on the line. Don't hang up just yet. I'm going to disconnect you
Sure.
and I in just a
Okay.
second here, but stay on the line and give your email, your full name and your email address to my producer Brian, and he will make sure that you get that we reach out to you and we schedule that. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, I'll be talking to you soon, JJ. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye. Sure. All right. That was cool. That was cool. So let's go ahead. We have one more caller who I recognize, Mr. Yogi, my good friend. So let's go ahead and bring you on. Hi there. Can you hear me, Yogi?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. How are you doing? What's going on today?
I'm doing good. I think I mentioned it in an email to you, but my question was, when you're networking, which is really going great, and you're talking to 3-4 contacts of yours, and everything's going out together. Mm-hmm. And what came up is an opportunity. It's a job. End of the day, it's work, but it's really not a 9-to-5 job. It's when I mean a 9-to-5 job means. Mm-hmm. You could go stay there and sit and you still make money. That's what I call a 9-to-5 job. Mm-hmm. Which comes with a false sense of security, right? You feel that you've got a 9-to-5 job, so you're done for life and everything's going to be hunky dory. But this particular offer is pretty good. It's within sort of what I do. Still working with scientists and all that, but it's really sort of your own business also, right? It's how much work you put in. So, I mean, my thought process is what's happening is it's not a 9-to-5 job. I've got these 3-4 things going on. Mm-hmm. How do I decide? Do I still keep on networking? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What I'm scared is if I stop networking, then there might be a great job out there. I need to make a decision. I think someday.
Yeah. Well, networking is an ongoing process. You never want to stop that. It's really best as part of your long-term job search strategy. And I do remember you telling me about this, that you've got this other opportunity that came up that it's not a 9-to-5 job. I think you said, is it more sales based? It's kind of like an independent business owner type of thing.
Yeah. It's brand management come servicing of technology in labs.
Okay. So
it's still fancy. It's still got the label I like and what I do.
Still fancy. Yeah, that's good. So here's the thing. When you're in a job search, you never want to close the loop on anything until it's a done deal. So you can absolutely keep pursuing this. It seems to be maybe that not as quite stable, but I can tell you, and that the corporate world offers a sense of security that's often false. And I personally have found more security working for myself than I ever did in the corporate world. So I would tell you, Yogi, real quick, just that that you want to just keep pursuing all of it. Keep networking. Don't close the door or the loop on anything until you have made a firm decision. And I don't see any reason why you should have to only pursue one at a time. You can pursue this new kind of different opportunity, but still kind of keep some other things warm as well. Would you agree?
I do. That's my thought process. It's like, okay, so I should. I started feeling guilty. I shouldn't contact anyone because I've already got something going on, but it's still not. It's still in the process. And I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, just keep.
And agree
it's
with
not.
You.
It's not selfish at all. A lot of people are like, oh, am I leading these people on? Can I really keep them on the line? Absolutely, you can. I tell people be a little bit selfish in a job search. Okay, I don't want you to end up being the loser, by closing the door on something and then it could have worked out. So you know what, Yogi, I already gave away my grand prize and it's not like you haven't gotten career coaching sessions from me. That's okay. But that's all right. I might be able to find a good runner-up prize for you. I bet I got a tip sheet ebook, something like that I haven't given you. So I'll give you one. Okay.
You can do me one more cover letter.
Or an extra cover letter. Okay. All right, my friend, I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.
No
Okay.
problem. Thank you very much.
Bye, Yogi.
Bye.
All right. I think we have just enough time for one last caller here. Kelly. So we have just a few minutes here. Hi, can you hear me, Kelly?
Yes, I can, Lorraine.
Hi. How are you?
So
How can I help you
calling
today?
I'm good. I'm calling up with a follow-up to the fired question.
Yes. Is this the Kelly who asked me that question?
Yes.
All right. All
and,
right.
You know, I've been in HR myself, so your whole experience reflected mine because I was blown away when it happened to me. It was like I've been on the firing side, and it just it was like surreal because it was just like your experience. But now I'm finding, as you and I would both know, HR can get clever. And what I'm finding is on applications, because when you can't just submit a resume anymore. They're asking you to fill out a lot of questions. And the question I'm seeing a lot is, have you ever been asked to resign or been terminated from a position?
Yeah.
And you can't get a lot of words in, so you have to either just say yes with a brief explanation, and that's where I'm kind of getting into I don't even get a chance to really say a whole lot beyond yes. And what was the situation in a real brief explanation. So it's been challenging.
It is. So it sounds like
my situation was like yours. It was just like
I feel your pain, girl. I feel your pain, and thank you for feeling mine. So it sounds like if I heard you correctly, you're finding this question is coming up sooner than the interview. You're finding it coming up in the online application, right? Which is not unheard of. Yeah. So in that case, they really put you in a box.
It's just maybe going through this. Yeah. And so I thought I'd call in to say, hey, and it can't be just me now that's going through this.
No.
People have got to be finding a way to say, hey, what's the real good way to respond to this, so you at least get the opportunity to go in and say,
explain yourself, because we can nearly always explain ourselves better in person when we're talking to someone rather than on paper or in an application, right? And that is so much about what is broken in the application and recruiting process right now, is that technology has made it so impersonal, and everyone's applying online, and you don't get that opportunity. So that's another reason why and the caller, Yogi, who just called in before this, was talking about how his networking is working really well for him. And I would say the same thing to you, Kelly. As much as you can bypass that computer system and get in with people who know you and will recommend you and help you and have live conversations with people. It's hard to do these days in the job search, but the more you can do that, the more you'll bypass that problem, and you'll kind of bring the human aspect back to the job search. And I have every bit of confidence and faith that you will be able to explain it, because good people get fired all the time. It happens. It could happen to anybody. And it doesn't mean you're not rehireable again with somebody else. It's just, getting past that. So I would say, as much as you can, network to rather than applying online. But if it comes that you do apply online, which is okay, if you get that question, I mean, you want to be honest. I always tell people to be authentic. You never want the employer to come back later and find out something that wasn't true. And at the end of the day, you just have to ask yourself, if they really don't want me just because of that, do I really want to work for them?
Right.
Probably not. We just have to kind of have that moment of truth with ourselves that, I want someone who wants me for me and can see past this. And there are employers who will. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope that helps a little bit. So no, I think you said you have an interview tomorrow, right? You have something coming up. Is that right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Good.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So the other thing I might say to you, the other thing I might say to you too, Kelly, is you said that you've been the hiring manager or in HR, right? You've been kind of the decision maker and right.
Yeah.
And part of that.
Yeah.
So what I would say to you is, how would you react if you were in an interview, and maybe this has happened to you, and someone was honest and upfront and was like, look, here, it's true. It happened. I'm not super proud of it, but I've learned from it and I have a lot to offer. You just want to think about, kind of reverse it and think about how you would react and how would you take that. And I think that at the end of the day, people are people, and the right employer is going to get it, is going to understand it, if you would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel, although I'm finding that's not the same with a lot of places.
Oh, no. Hang in, girl, you're going to find the right one. Yes, you're going to find the right one.
And then there's the hiring people, there's that difference. But
Are you applying mostly online, or are you kind of networking? Do you have any folks who might refer you? What does that kind of look like?
Where I am. Yeah, I'm new to where I am, so I don't really know a lot of people still. So
okay.
Still, yeah. So it's kind of challenging.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, tell you what, I did give away my my big grand prize already, but I don't want to leave you empty-handed here, Kelly. I do want to give you some kind of free gift for our birthday week. So let me ask you this. I have a lot of resources that I have developed on everything from writing resumes to interviews to salary negotiations, LinkedIn. What area of the job search do you want help with? And I'll make sure we send you a free gift around that. Can you think of any area that you might want a little free gift in?
I'd take the salary negotiations because being in a new area, I'm not even sure, what they set them at. They are all over the map down here. So I think that'd be a good one for me.
Okay. Yeah. I have
what they even are down here. So that's a good one.
Sure. So I have a tip sheet that I've developed called Master the Salary Negotiation, and it's got done for you dialogue and scripts for, if they say this, then say this. If they say this, then say this. Yeah. It's kind of takes the stress out of it. So
that would be great.
Good. Well, what I will say is, you're so welcome. I'm so glad. I'm glad you were able to call in. I was because I knew you had that question, and I was like, I hope she'll be able to, call in, because it would be really impactful to be able to actually connect with you. So, please hang on the line in just a second. After I let you go, hang on, don't hang up yet, and give your email to my producer, Brian, and we will get you that free gift. Yeah. All right.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow at your interview.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Woo. That birthday week got a lot of callers in. What do y'all think? That was good. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed my story. I have no problem whatsoever kind of, putting it all out there on the line for you guys. It really can happen to anyone. And I was floored when it happened to me. And so I so appreciate all of my callers and Kelly really too, for being like, yep, I'll raise my hand. It happened to me. It could happen to you. All right. So let's wrap things up. We are almost done here. We only have about 2 minutes left. And so I'll just give you guys a quick reminder about my webinar coming up. It's happening June 13th. So in about 8 or 9 days here at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I hope that you will join me. It's completely free. And you just want to go to worksmartcounseling.com/dreamjob. And if you haven't done so, join my Facebook group. That's how I connected with Kelly originally. It's called Career Uprising on Facebook. It's free, public group. You can join. And I post articles, I answer questions, and generally just try to be awesome for you guys. So let me give you a sneak peek. Next week, I will be back with another live show at the same time. 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern. And we're going to be talking about money, your relationship with dinero, with money. Whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you don't have enough of it, we're going to solve that as well. All right. So maybe Kelly would want that one too. Talking about salary negotiation. But anyway, that's it, guys, for episode 9. Join me again live next time. But until then, I want you to go out there into the world and have an amazing week. I'll talk to you guys next time. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.